Alright guys, good morning. We're going to review the 6.1 simplifying, multiplying, dividing rational expressions. So the key thing in this section is to just factor and cross off things that we already know. So big thing, step one is factor everything. Okay, once everything's factored, we'll state our restrictions. Okay, and then our last step will be to simplify for each problem. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I am going to factor the top. So top x squared plus 10x plus 25. Do it first times last. You get 25. Factors of 25 are 1 and 25. And then 5 and 5. So we, again, to review factoring, need multiples of that last term to add to the middle term. So positive 5 and positive 5 make 10. There we go, our top is factored. Now, factor the bottom. We get x squared plus 9x plus 20. First times last, 20. Factors of 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10. 3 doesn't go in, and then we get 4 and 5. So plus 4 and plus 5 add to 9. So we just get x plus 4 times x plus 5. Now I'm going to rewrite it in my factored form. So x plus 5 times x plus 5 divided by x plus 4 times x plus 5. Alright. So our next step is to state our restrictions. And this is the values of x that make the denominator equal to 0. Alright, so remember, 3 divided by 0 is undefined. We don't want that. Okay, so I'm just going to look at these guys right here. And you basically set them equal to 0 and solve. Or for these simple ones, it's just the opposite sign. So opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. And the opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. So we have our restrictions. Step 1, step 2, and then step 3 will be to simplify. So we want to cross off things that are similar or exactly the same. So x plus 5 and x plus 5 both cancel out. So now I'll write what's remaining, which is x plus 5 divided by x plus 4. X can't equal my restrictions from over here, negative 4, negative 5. So, final answer. That's example 1. Okay, moving on to example 2. So same things. So step 1, I'm going to factor the top. So I get 2x squared minus 3x minus 2. First times last, I'll get negative 4. Factors 4, 1 and 4, 2 and 2. I need them to add to negative 3. So I'll use a negative 4 and a positive 1. So x plus 1, x minus 4. But there's a catch. The number in front is 2. So if you have an a greater than 1, you have to divide your multiples by that number. This method is called slide and divide. Okay, so if we can simplify the fractions, we will. If not, we'll just continue on. So I'll have x plus 1/2. Can't simplify. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so x minus 2. Now, since I have a denominator, I'll just slide it in front. You could do that in the step before, but for this problem, I'm going to do it all in one shot. So 2x plus 1, x minus 2. Now we're done. So let's do the bottom. Which is a nice easy one. X squared minus 5x plus 6. First times last, 6. Factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Remember, this is a positive 6 there. So we need multiples that multiply to positive 6 but add to negative 5. So 1 and 6 make 7 or 5, but 1 has to be negative, so it can't be that pair. But if I do a negative 2 and a negative 3, negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5, and negative 2 times negative 3 makes positive 6. So x minus 2, x minus 3. All right, so that part's done. Everything's factored. Step 2. I'm going to do 2x plus 1 times x minus 2 divided by x minus 2 times x minus 3. Restrictions only apply to the denominator. So what makes the denominator 0? Again, opposite signs. Because these are easy ones. Now if we throw a number in front of the x, it's a little different. So I'm going to get positive 2 and positive 3. Okay, our last part is to simplify. Alright, so I'm looking for things that are the same. So x minus 2 crosses off with x minus 2. And that's it. So I'm going to rewrite it. We get 2x plus 1 divided by x minus 3, where x can't equal 2 and 3. Final answer. All right, moving on to our next one. Okay, so to start off, I don't like the way that top looks. I always like to write it from highest exponent to lowest exponent. So I'll do negative 3x minus 6 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now we will factor the top if possible. Now you may think this is not factorable, but it is. All right, just because it doesn't have the x squared doesn't mean you can't pull out a greatest common factor. Okay, what do both terms share in common? Just so happens that they are both divisible by negative 3. So when you divide, you factor it out. It comes on the outside of the parentheses. So when we simplify, we get x plus 2. Because a double negative makes it plus. So top's done. Now we'll do the bottom. Get x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay, factors of 8, 1 and 8, 2 and 4. So I'll use a negative 2 and a negative 4. X minus 2, x minus 4. Boom, that's factored now. So step 1 is done. Step 2, negative 3 over x plus 2 divided by x minus 2 times x minus 4. Restrictions. Again, what makes the bottom not equal to 0? So we'll get positive 2 and positive 4. And step 3, cross things off where we can. Can't cross anything off. So final answer. is step 2, no changes. So that's simplified. Now multiplying is just simplifying with an extra step. So same thing, you want to factor. We want to do our restrictions. And then we want to simplify. Okay. So I will give these 1, 2, 3, and 4 little sub numbers. So for number 1, I have 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. First times last, 6, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Alright, so to make 7, we'll use positive 1 and positive 6. X plus 1, x plus 6. Again, a is greater than 1, so we have to divide by 2. And as I said a couple minutes ago, I'm going to slide that out in front first, since I can't simplify 1/2. So I get 2x plus 1. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. Alright, number 2 is done. Number 3, x squared minus 16. Now you can see that there's no x term, so that means our x term is 0. So factors of 16 that make 0. I get 2 and 8, 4 and 4. Okay, you also know that 16 is a perfect square. So plus and minus 4 makes 0. Three is done. Alright, now number 4, x squared plus 8x plus 15. Factors of 15, I have to do first times last. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Plus 3 plus 5 make 8. And now that one's done. Alright, so step 1 is done. Go to step 2. I have x, 2x, plus 1, x plus 3, divided by x minus 4, times x plus 4, x minus 4, all divided by x plus 3, x plus 5. Alright, so restrictions. X can't equal. I have 4, negative 3, negative 5. Now that's all done. So simplify. Cross off things that are the same. I have an x plus 3 top left, x plus 3 bottom right. And I have an x minus 4 bottom left, x minus 4 top right. And that's all I can cross off. So now I'm just going to write what's remaining on top and what's remaining on bottom. So on top I have 2x plus 1, x plus 4, and then x plus 5 on the bottom. Write my restrictions. 4, negative 3, negative 5. And we are done with this example. Alright. Example 5. Same thing, so factor. Do 1, 2, 3, 4. Just for cleaning up purposes. So 1 is x squared minus 4. Factors of 4 that make 0 are minus 2 plus 2. So we get x minus 2, x plus 2. Alright, so x plus 2, x minus 2. Okay. Number 2 is x squared minus 1. Again, factors of 1 are 1 and 1, easy, prime number, plus 1 minus 1. X plus 1, x minus 1. Okay. And then we'll get number 3. It's x plus 1. That's done. Easy peasy. And then number 4. X squared plus 2x. So there's no third term, so let's look for that greatest common factor, which happens to be x. So x pops out on the outside of a set of parentheses. X squared divided by x is x. 2x divided by x is 2. So 3 is fine, which is x plus 1. Then bottom right is x times x plus 2. Okay. Restrictions, x can't equal -1, +1, 0, -2. I don't know why I wrote +1. Okay. And the 0 comes from this guy right there. So x can't equal 0. Alright, now that's step 2. That's done. Step 3. Let's cross everything off. +1, +1, +2, +2. So we'll get x minus 2 divided by x times x minus 1, where x can't equal -1, 1, 0, and -2. Order doesn't matter when you write those. If you have OCD, you can write it from lowest number to highest number. Alright, so that's multiplying. Same as simplifying, just crossing off more things. Now division, okay, there's a little bit of a twist with division. So same things, we're going to factor. Okay, but then before we do restrictions, we have to flip the fraction on the right. Alright, because you can't divide fractions. You have to flip and multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so then we'll do our restrictions. And then we'll simplify. Okay. Again, don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to rewrite it as -x plus 4 divided by 3x plus 2 times x minus 2. If you want, you can flip it now. Might as well make it multiplication. So I get x minus 2 on top times 7x minus 5 divided by 5 times x minus 4. Just like to note that whoever made this is awesome because they factored everything for you already. So step 1 is done. Fractions flipped. Let's do our restrictions. X can't equal. So this one is a catch. That 3x minus 2 or plus 2. So we'll set it equal to 0 and solve. So we'll subtract 2. You get 3x can't equal -2. Then divide by 3. then you get x can't equal -2/3. Okay. This one doesn't, the second one here, there's no a in front, so we'll just flip it. Get +2. And then that, there's no number in front of the x again, so we'll just write +4. Time for the simplifying. Actually, hold on. I can factor that. Okay. All you do is pull out the negative. So -x + 4. Factor out a -1, you get x - 4. Okay. So I'm going to erase that right now. And I'm going to change it to -1 times x - 4. Because hopefully we can cross stuff off now. So now let's simplify. X - 4, x - 4, x - 2. Top right, x - 2. And that is it. Okay, so let's write what's remaining. So top left I have a -1. Top right is 7x - 5. The bottom I have a 5 times 3x + 2. Restrictions, x can't equal -2/3, 2, or 4. We're done. Okay, so division. In a nutshell, flip the fraction and then multiply. So I got another example. Okay, so we'll do x squared plus 2x minus 15. I'm just going to flip first and then factor everything. Multiply 3x minus 12 over x plus 1. Alright, so a number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, x squared plus 2x minus 15. So first times last gives me -15, 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Now I need to make +2, so I'll use a -3 and a +5. Number 2 we've done already, so x squared minus 16 is x plus 4 and x minus 4. Number 3, 3x minus 12 may initially look like we can't do anything with it, but there is a greatest common factor of 3. So let's divide everything by 3. You get 3 times x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Boom. 3 times x minus 4. And then number 4 is done. Okay, so rewrite everything. So x minus 3, x plus 5, x plus 4, and x minus 4 times 3 times x minus 4 divided by x plus 1. Restrictions, x can't equal -4, +4, -1. Let's simplify. X minus 4 with x minus 4. And that's it. So I'm going to take this 3 on the right hand side, write that first. X minus 3, x plus 5, divided by x plus 4 times x plus 1. Restrictions, x can't equal -4, 4, and -1. And we're done. Alright, so assignment is 1 through 10, all. I'll give you 2 days to complete it. Message me if you have questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you for my very first video lesson.